Okay, we are back once again live. Let me check if everything is working, and if so, I will dive into the content directly. Um, yes, everything seems to be working. Yep. Okay, let's dive in. I can hear myself. Hello, Goose. Hey, how are you? Welcome back for the first people joining in here. Welcome back for the people watching. And also for the new viewers, of course. Welcome. I just wanted to go live for a minute here because I think we have something very important upcoming tonight, and I just want to share my thoughts about what's going to happen tonight and what it's going to possibly mean for the crypto market here. So let's discuss that and some other stuff. Make sure to drop your questions in the comments if you have some, because now I'm able to answer them directly here, of course. Um, which is nice if you have some questions, basically. Okay, what I wanted to discuss in today's update live stream, I would call it, because this is what I've been doing for the final days, is that the US government shutdown is basically expected to end not tomorrow but the day after, actually. If we look into poly market, traders are now expecting that the shutdown is going to end on November the 14th, and that would basically mean that tonight, or if this is going to come true, that tonight the House voting, which is going to happen here at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, will be successful, and that the House will vote for the new funding bill, and that's how the U.S. government shutdown could be ending here on the short-term perspective. So this is going to be a very important event tonight. I'm live now and not at the event because unfortunately 4 p.m. Eastern time is in my time zone, it's like midnight, so I won't be able to attend it, unfortunately. But it is definitely going to be a major one. I think the reopening is getting priced into the markets most definitely now, because the market is expecting it to end in about 2 days here. So I don't know if it's going to be fair to really expect a market move still from the point we are currently trading at, but it's possible to happen. It could happen. So let's see. But just to give an update, indeed tonight at 4 p.m. the vote is going to get held, the U.S. House voting, and if successful, the U.S. government shutdown is going to end. And looking at Bitcoin, it does like the upcoming news, because I think it's looking quite interesting now, the Bitcoin chart, because actually the last few hours we have been moving up ever so slightly, which is amazing. Let me open the Bitcoin chart. On the 5 minute perspective. And there we can clearly see that we have been moving up ever so slightly. What I do find also very interesting is that Ethereum is showing even more strength than Bitcoin currently. Here, if we open the Ethereum chart on the 5 minutes, it's now coming back down ever so slightly, but I think it was performing stronger than Bitcoin in this move up. But the markets are now trending higher. Bitcoin just below 104k. Let me put in the last price, 104.8k, and Ethereum 3.5k, holding well above 3.5k, which is most definitely looking good. I think my trades is now also in somewhat of a bigger profit once again. Yes, indeed. And same can be said for the Bitcoin trading position. I will also now give a quick update on those positions, also what my plan is going to be for the government shutdown ending. Not that much, because for me to get liquidated or to miss out on a lot of profits, I think that's not going to happen. I still have my limit orders open at the 93 and 98k levels, because I think if we look at the Bitcoin chart, this green area is definitely an interesting zone to accumulate. So 93k, 98k, between those limit orders I will remain to be accumulating. Here at the lows, We have my current open long orders basically laying at the orange box. From off here, I'm going to aim for a move towards the mid-range for Bitcoin and towards the range highs. Yes, I have it here, the mid-range and the range highs. And potentially, if you are going to see a rejection here, I will take profits at the mid-range, otherwise at the range highs. I think that's going to be the current game plan for Bitcoin. Not that much is going to change in there, I think. For Ethereum, I still have my limit orders open. Unfortunately, I could not build a big Ethereum position in time, but maybe I will get filled. Limit orders are looking far away now, but let's see. Maybe I will change something here and just open a bigger position in the near future. Let's see, but now I'm going to be patient because of my Bitcoin trade. I'm exposed to the market. Definitely once my limit orders are going to get filled, it will be in 150k Bitcoin trade. So I think I'm well enough exposed to the market, and I will just be patient from now on. Also, if you do want to trade for yourself on Lbank, because that's where I'm basically placing most of my trades, you can also trade Ethereum, but most definitely also a lot of other altcoin pairs. If you do want to do so, we still have this campaign ongoing for the next days, where you can claim a 50% deposit bonus and a generous refund on Lbank. So make sure to come and check it out if you're getting interested in that. I think it's of course a nice offer to be claiming here, if you do want to do so. Because it's not only a deposit bonus up to 2.5k, but the generous refund is also up to 5k on your first position only, of course. And if you're going to claim the offer, I will just quickly come over to one of my latest YouTube videos. Give me a moment. Look at this. Okay. They can also claim a $100 voucher. So with the link in the description on that video, you can be claiming those bonuses on Lbank. So make sure to come and check it out. Okay, back to the content. Let me see what we need to discuss before the reopening. Look, what I think for Bitcoin, if indeed we could see some positive momentum for Bitcoin because of the reopening or some other news hitting the market, I'm looking into the falling wedge breakout personally. So we've always been hitting all of the targets from the falling wedge breakouts, basically, for Bitcoin. Let me draw it out. Boom. Look at that. And now, are we going to be heading towards the new breakout target, which is the top side of the wedge? And if so, we have a very bullish Bitcoin scenario ahead of us here. Boom. Let me draw it out nicely. Look at that for Bitcoin. Greetings from Brazil. Thank you so much. Greetings back all the way from Brazil. Crazy. What's the time in Brazil at the current moment? But yeah, I think you can see it for yourself. If Bitcoin is going to initiate the breakout of this falling wedge, it is going to look very bullish. And I think there is a high likelihood that we are going to move towards the range highs, which is the top side target of the falling wedge. Because you can also draw it into the chart I have here. Boom. Let me see. Look at that. Like this. Boom. There you have the falling wedge. 8. Oh, so it's in the morning. It's early in the morning. Look at that. That's looking good. And indeed, if you are literally perfectly targeting the range high target if you are going to initiate a breakout out of the falling wedge. So we have a very interesting Bitcoin setup ahead of us, I personally think. So things could start moving quite fast. I must say, I'm also open for the scenario if Bitcoin is going to show weakness in the next few days. That we, for example, drop to the lower side of the wedge. And that is going to correspond with one of my Bitcoin limit orders here, with the 98k limit order, I think. Yes. And yeah, for me, I would not mind if that order is also going to get filled. But I think this is less likely than just breaking to the top side. But I'm open to the scenario, because eventually we can be compressing a little bit more in the falling wedge here at the downside. So let's see about exactly that. course, you can also draw it a little bit differently. I can also draw it like this. Yeah, it depends a little bit how deep we can go, how exactly you draw it, but I think you guys get the idea. And we also got rejected at about the top side of the falling wedge, actually, at the range low. Breaking the range low is going to be crucial, I personally think. I think it's over for XRP this cycle. Why do you think so? Look, I'm also dropping a video about this later today, about my honest thoughts on altcoins and some potential good ones. Look, what I think for altcoins, what we do need to see first for XRP, all altcoins, most definitely, we need to see Ethereum moving from off the range higher of the reaccumulation phase towards the 1.6.8 and the second Fibonacci level. What does it mean? It simply means that we break above the 5k level, we stay above the 5k level, so we remain above all-time highs for a few weeks, and then we could see an outperformance period for altcoins, and then it must certainly, or it is definitely not over in any case for XRP and a lot of other altcoins. And I think what Ethereum needs for this is something we already have confirmed, and that is that QT is going to end at the 1st of December, and also of course your FOMC meeting in December itself is going to be a very important one, because maybe at that meeting we can hear something about the possible start of QE. And that is of course a very interesting one, because at the start of QE, I think that's going to be a moment where altcoins will really start outperforming. And definitely XRP and a lot of other large cap ones, just well-known ones, because a lot of retail money will just start flowing in, and the well-known ones will benefit first of a new liquidity flow. But what I think is different, look, if you look at the Fed balance sheet and all the altcoins compared versus Bitcoin, what you can see is that the last time, of course, QE started, and most of us know that then altcoins started to go parabolic, most definitely after COVID, of course, and that was because the Fed balance sheet just kept on going higher and higher. It was crazy QE. Since then, we have been in QT, and basically altcoins have been moving down with that perfectly here. End of QE. QT started, boom, look at the altcoins. So, first of all, if you look at the correlation of the last few years, I think it is quite clear that QE and QT and the Fed monetary policy do have a big effect on altcoins and the altcoin market. If you then look back into what happened in 2017, because that is mostly the argument of most people that say, oh, we don't need QE for altcoins to pump. Maybe not, but what I personally think is that in 2017 we had like 200 or 300 altcoins. In 2021 we already had a little bit more. But in 2017 maybe indeed you did not need QE and just a normal phase, just nothing, or just QT did not matter. But I must say that after QT started, you can simply see that altcoins also went down. But anyhow, when the balance sheet was basically neutral here, in that phase, we had less altcoins. We had 200-300 pairs, so there was less liquidity needed to make those altcoins shoot higher. But now there's much more liquidity needed to make a lot more altcoins move higher and to truly make it feel as an altcoin season. So what I personally think is that we need QE to get more liquidity available. That will take time. So let's see if we have to see a bear market in between. I don't know exactly about that yet. We will get more clarity on that in the near future. But I think it's needed, and the liquidity is needed for altcoins to start outperforming once again. I think it's not stupid, but I think it's undeniable, to be honest. Also looking at the chart. So that is what I currently think about altcoins. And we can see that during the both QT periods also, we saw big drawdowns for altcoins and we saw bear markets. And another argument is, of course, that Bitcoin started moving higher, but also first Bitcoin, of course, it will bleed down anyway. In the bear market, it will bleed. In the bull market, it will bleed if only Bitcoin moves. So that's what I currently think of the situation here. I'm also open for the scenario that indeed QE gets started, we move a little bit up, then down, we see a mini bear market. We have some interesting scenarios ahead of us, but to say that it's over for XRP, for the cycle, yeah, maybe for the cycle indeed, but I think we have some interesting periods ahead of us, to be honest. I think we still have to see a lot of good performance. and this is it's going to happen eventually. Mm-mm-mm. So yeah, that's what I think about that. Just in short, let me see if I have some other stuff. Yeah, also what I find so interesting is that the Deutsche Bank is also expecting the Fed to start QE in Q1 2026, and they basically perfectly predicted the ending of QT also before the last FOMC meeting. So that is why I'm getting quite excited. And you are just seeing the early signals that we are going to get QE in the near future. And the only question is going to be what kind of QE, how fast, when. But I think it's going to be a massive, a very decisive point for the altcoin markets. Mm-mm-mm. Let me also see what's happening in the private Telegram channel. For the people that don't know, here in the channel I'm also updating about everything I see for the markets, of course. Here, for example, I shared that I was expecting the CME gap to fill up. Basically, perfectly like predicted, we did fill it up, and now we are moving back to the top side. I also discussed it in the video, but here I'm updating in quicker, in real time, I would say. So if you want to join here, not only for my channel, but also of Crypto Rover and 5 professional other traders, for example, we have a few trades open now, I think. We have some good profits coming in, which is nice. Thank you for giving the directions. Sec. Yeah, we just have this only from today and yesterday actually. We have some good profits coming in on this. Whoa, a 400x Bitcoin short. Crazy. We have some good profits coming in. So if you do want to join, make sure to come over to the description of the video, and there you can join the VIP group for updates on my trades, but also trading setups, updates from Crypto Rover, some other events and stuff we are hosting. Make sure to come over. We now have 1,123 members, so it's going quite fast actually. It's growing quite fast, which is nice. So make sure to come over. What do you guys think about the US government shutdown ending tonight? Is it priced in or not? Are we going to see somewhat of a market reaction, or is it just going to be very boring? I am curious about what you guys' thoughts are. Ethereum is actually holding up very strong here once again, while Bitcoin keeps on moving lower. You can really see it. And I think this also means, look, we can just look at the Ethereum versus Bitcoin pair. It will give us some more clarity. Ethereum versus Bitcoin. Boom. On the 1 hourly. Yes, we are indeed in somewhat of an uptrend here for Ethereum versus Bitcoin. Since the 4th of November actually already. Look at that. Boom. I think since the major liquidation event. Ethereum versus Bitcoin uptrend, but now it's getting more obvious because we do see the outperformance sideways. Okay. Yeah, it's possible indeed. Let me see how Ethereum versus Bitcoin is looking on Bybit at my phone. Let me check. 5 minutes. Yes. Okay, I just did a quick post on X. Weeks is requiring KYC? No, it's a non-KYC exchange. Maybe for some certain bonuses and stuff, but you should look for yourself. Is that the case? Just to trade and just to join the group also, it's non-KYC. Okay, back to the charts. Back to the charts. Bitcoin now also bouncing back above the 50 weekly moving average, touching it once again here, but not dropping below it so far. Which, by the way, I would not mind if Bitcoin is going to drop below the 50 weekly moving average on the daily, for example. What it's about that we don't close a weekly candle under it, because that is usually the moment where bear markets do get started with the weekly candles here. And then from there you could still see like a major trap playing out, right? You could still see a major trap playing out. But this is the moment where I might say a bear market is going to get started. But for now, it's not looking like that, because still we are holding above it. We are bouncing above it, we're holding above it, which is looking good, which is looking absolutely amazing. And let's see how Bitcoin is going to perform with this falling wedge here. I think this is the most important thing for Bitcoin now. Initiating a breakout here, then I would say we are quite back actually. We just need one catalyst. One thing that can push Bitcoin just a little bit higher, I would say. Is it going to be the US government reopening? Last time we did pump quite hard after the reopening, of course. But it might not be that comparable. Also here on the stablecoin supply ratio, like discussed this morning, people swap to stablecoins during the dips here, and then they start rotating back into crypto during the moves higher. We're now at somewhat of that bottoming stage / level, comparable with the tariffs, actually a little bit lower even. So I would say that the crypto market is ready for some recovery. If we pump just a little bit higher, we can also be making a higher high on the chart, which is going to look very good probably. So let's see. Many odds approaching local range lows should be a nice play for a higher low. I think we have some interesting stuff incoming. Very nice. Longing ETH? Yes, I'm already long. I'm already long on ETH. It depends on currently. Yes, indeed. And I also have my limit orders open still. If you would now be opening up a long, it's still possible, but it's all going to depend on your leverage, to be honest. Because I don't know if I would feel very comfortable going in very high leverage on Ethereum at the current price, to be honest. But I still think Ethereum is at quite a fair value now, to be honest. It's not undervalued, but it is just at quite a fair value. It's not like the tariffs back in April that we clearly saw that Ethereum was like super undervalued. I think it's just at fair value now, and it's an interesting moment to potentially open a position. Potentially. So yes, let's see tonight, guys, about the US government shutdown of the US government reopening. I'm super excited. I will probably be asleep at the moment it's going to happen, but in the morning I will be back with another update video to immediately start updating again. But it is going to get quite interesting, most definitely. And I think if I don't see any more questions coming in, I would just end the update stream for today, because there's not much more to talk about. What I do wanted to say, by the way, is that because of the US government shutdown possibly ending, what we are going to get finally again, which I'm super excited for, is the economic data. Because I was always live streaming all of the important economic data, and I can finally be doing so once again. So it will make it much easier to have more to discuss during the daily live streams. So Make sure to be prepared to subscribe to the channel because we will be live streaming all of the labor market, inflation data, all of the good stuff we will be live streaming once again. So make sure to come over. Have you seen the huge disappointment all over recently where Bitcoin underperformed the stock market? What's your take on the decoupling? Look, for it's always possible to see a period of underperformance or outperformance from Bitcoin against the US stock market or the other way around basically. What I think about it, look, the Bitcoin does have like a 75% correlation with the Nasdaq actually. So partials with the US stock market in that case, depends on how you're going to describe it, or how you're going to define it. So it's not always like that. You can decouple, Bitcoin can move higher, stock market can move down, all the way around. It's perfectly fine in my opinion. I'm not that surprised by it. What I do think is that Bitcoin eventually is going to catch up. Chances of it catching up with the US stock market are higher than Bitcoin just keeps dropping lower and the US stock market moving higher. On the other hand, it is also a dangerous signal because normally Bitcoin and crypto do front run the US stock market. So usually what Bitcoin and crypto are doing, that's what the US stock market will follow in a later stage. So we could also be front running a potential bear market. But for now, I don't think that's going to be the case, but I would just keep it in mind. Spot holdings are the best, guys. We fell due to crazy leverage. Let's not forget. Yes, indeed. At the liquidation event, so many people got wiped out. So many people got wiped out. But it's part of the game, and I did not even get liquidated at that event. But I think like everything over a 5 or maybe 6, 7x leverage position got liquidated. So it was quite insane. Be careful indeed. Be careful. But also let's not forget about the opportunities. Let's not forget about the opportunities because stuff that happened in the past. That's also important. And just to end the live stream, guys, if you do want to start trading yourself, make sure to come over to LBank, where you can now claim that bonus. Basically that, let me show you, the $2,500 deposit bonus and the 5k USDT trading refund on your first trading position. Make sure to come check it out. If you're getting interested in that, you can claim it with the link in the description on the update video, also plus a $100 voucher. So if you're getting interested, make sure to come and claim it over here with the link in the description. And let me see one question coming in. Market looks like always try and catch all liquidity before the real movement. I only operate on spot. It's good. It's good that I see that most people are operating on spot. But yeah, I also like leverage positions, to be honest. It depends. It depends. Okay guys, I will be ending the live stream for today. The update, hunting all the liquidity. Indeed, we are indeed hunting a lot of liquidity. It is usually something that happens around the low, so let's see. I will be ending the update live stream for today. After the US government shutdown, I'm quite sure we have much stuff to discuss. So I'm looking forward to see all of you guys back tomorrow at a new update video and probably also a live stream later on the day. And yeah, I wish all of you guys an amazing day. Have some fun. To Henry back in Brazil, have a very nice day because your day is just getting started, I think. Have a good one. Also to everybody else, different time zones, have a good one. Good evening, good night, good morning, what it is. I will see you guys in the next update video tomorrow morning.